The wait is over. After months of off-season debates, practice footage, and endless speculation, the Boston Celtics are finally stepping back onto the court tonight. That's right. The preseason is here, and for fans hungry for real basketball, it couldn't come soon enough. Tonight, the Celtics face off against the Memphis Grizzlies, and while it's just preseason, the excitement is real. No more slow-motion training clips. No more dissecting every media day, quote, like it's a riddle. We're finally about to see who's ready to hoop. There's a different kind of energy in the air when basketball makes its return, especially when it involves a team like the Celtics. This preseason opener isn't just another date on the calendar. It's a first look at some real answers. Can Anthony Simons actually hold his own on defense this year? Is Jaylen Brown as physically sharp as he claims to be? Who's going to step up in the paint? Is Peyton Pritchard ready to keep bleeding green, and maybe literally, again this season? These are the kind of questions that don't get answered in press conferences. They get answered when the ball goes up and the lights come on. The schedule ahead is tight, but it's packed with opportunity. After tonight's game in Memphis, Boston hits the road again Friday, either to Toronto or Cleveland, before finally returning to the Garden on Sunday. And that first home game, it's more than just a return to Boston. It's the moment fans finally get to feel that buzz in the building again. That home court fire, that citywide adrenaline rush that only Celtics basketball brings. Now, full disclosure, today's all about gut feeling. This isn't your carefully crafted, data-driven deep dive. This is vibes. This is preseason chaos. This is where we get loose, make some bold predictions, and throw some jabs, maybe even at LeBron, while we're at it. It might be a shorter show, but it sets the tone for what's to come. Because tomorrow, that's when the real grind begins. That's when we break down actual tape, see what worked, what didn't, and where the Celtics are headed. But for now, it's prediction time. So here's where we're landing. 82 games. That's what the regular season gives us. Vegas has the Celtics win total hovering at 41.5. That's the line. Are they a playoff lock or a play-in roller coaster? Me? I'm taking the over. Not by a mile, but by enough. I've got them at 45 wins and 37 losses. That's 8 games over .500. Does that math check out? Yes, barely. But it's not about perfect calculations. It's about where this team fits in the landscape of the East. And that's been a mental tug-of-war all offseason. Are the Celtics good enough to really compete? Are they elite? Are they just decent? Some folks out there have been throwing around high 40s, even 50-win projections, but I'm not there. Not with this group. I've stepped back from a whole tank conversation, too. That idea floated around early in the offseason. Rest the starters, build for the future, go after a lottery pick. But when I looked at this roster, tried to picture it all coming together, I kept asking myself the same question. Does this team have the pieces to win a title? The answer, honestly, is no. Not this year. Not with this current build. But, and this is important, it doesn't have to be championship or bust. That mindset has poisoned a lot of fan bases. And in Boston, where banners hang like expectations, it's hard to shake. But this team doesn't need to bottom out. They don't need to pull the plug and chase ping pong balls. There's still value in competing. There's value in development. There's value in grit. Look at the last decade. The Celtics have been in the mix every single season. Even when they weren't the clear favorite in the East, they were always in the conversation. Top 3 contender most years. That consistency came from 2 things, top-tier talent and a weaker Eastern Conference. It wasn't always fair, but the West has been deeper for years. Still, with Tatum and Brown leading the way, Boston had a shot, year in, year out. But this season, this is the first one in a long time where that confidence feels a little cracked. And yet, that doesn't mean Boston throws in the towel. We've seen teams take that approach, most notably the Warriors when Steph went down and they leaned into the rebuild. They turned it into James Wiseman and Jonathan Kuminga. That model exists. But that's not this team. This group? They're not built to fold. They're not wired to quit. Sure, the roster isn't perfect. It's gone through some changes. But when you've got guys like Jaylen Brown, Peyton Pritchard, Derek White, and even role players like Sam Hauser still in the mix, you're not rolling out a tank job. And then there are the young pieces. Guys like Jordan Walsh and Baylor Shireman. They're hungry. They're ready for their shot. And unless the front office sends down a directive to rest the vets and punt the season, I don't think that's what we're going to see. I think we're going to get effort. I think we're going to get chaos. I think we're going to get fast-paced, unpredictable, and, let's be honest, probably a little defensively challenged basketball. But that's entertainment. This might not be a dominant Celtics team, but it could be one of the most fun teams to watch on League Pass. They're going to be weird. They're going to throw out experimental lineups. They're going to get hot. They're going to have cold nights too. But for neutral fans or fantasy managers, this is a squad to keep an eye on. So yeah, I'm sticking with the over. 8 games over .500. And that probably lands them somewhere around the 5th or 6th seed when it's all said and done. That means I've got them finishing ahead of teams like the Heat, Bucks, and Sixers. Bold? Maybe. But this is prediction season. Let's get weird. Let's talk standings. Knicks at the 1 seed. I know. There's some weird energy surrounding Giannis and the Bucks, but I've got the Knicks making that leap. Cavs take the 2nd seed. Hawks sneak into the 3rd. Then we go Magic Pistons. Yes, Pistons. And then the Celtics at 6. That's the top of the East in this timeline. Toronto could be a sleeper, but I'm not sold yet. As for individual performances, I'm calling it now. Jaylen Brown's going All-NBA. Not just All-Star, All-NBA 2nd team. He's putting up over 25 a night and taking that next step as a leader. Peyton Pritchard, give me 19 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. That's right, 19, 5, and 5. And Anthony Simons, he's cracking 20 points per game. Easily. This season's going to be full of surprises. And if we're going all in on predictions, I think Joe Mazzulla is going to start getting some Coach of the Year buzz. Not win it, not yet, but he'll be in those early conversations. Jaylen's the only All-Star from Boston this year, but Pritchard and Simons, they'll be in the mix for the 3-point contest. That's right, Celtics repping All-Star weekend in style. And let me throw one more wild card at you, Neemias Queta. The Portuguese big man is going to average a double-double this season. That's right, double-digit points, double-digit rebounds. I believe in it. I want to believe in it. Give me the Portuguese prince that was promised. Let's go. Now before we shift to the rest, let's talk off-the-court news. Jason Tatum just became the chief basketball officer of Duke. That's not just a title. That's a sign of maturity. A player giving back to the institution that helped launch his career. Say what you want about college athletics, but when guys like Tatum and Curry stay connected to their schools, that means something. It creates continuity, mentorship, and maybe even accountability. Tatum's not just checking a box here. He's opening doors for the next generation. What stands out most about Tatum stepping into that role at Duke isn't just the name or the headline. It's what it represents. This is a guy who spent only 1 year with the program, yet the bond he formed with Coach K and that whole basketball family clearly left a mark. And now, even with a full NBA schedule and everything that comes with being the face of a franchise, Tatum's making the time to pour into the place that gave him his first big shot. He's not just showing up to wave from the sidelines at a homecoming game. He's staying connected. He's offering mentorship. He's showing young guys that if they put in the work, the support doesn't stop when they leave campus. It's an ongoing relationship. He talked about how, back in his college days, pros would visit and throw out that classic line, "Hit me up if you need anything." And like most people would, Tatum brushed it off, thinking there was no way those offers were serious, that they were just saying it to sound supportive. But now that he's in that position, he's trying to flip the script. He's giving out his number and letting these kids know, for real, that if they reach out, he's picking up. That kind of move matters, especially in college basketball, where the one-and-done model has made it harder to build real continuity. Most players are gone before fans even memorize their names. So when someone like Tatum actively stays involved, it brings stability. It brings history. It brings culture. And you can laugh and say it's just a title, just a PR move. But these little things matter in a program like Duke's. They matter in how young athletes see the path ahead of them and how they see what leadership can actually look like beyond the game. Now, while we're talking about legacy, mentorship, and players taking on new roles, let's swing the spotlight in a very different direction. Let's talk about LeBron James. And more specifically, let's talk about that latest commercial. If you were hoping for something clever, something tongue-in-cheek, maybe a smart nod to the decision era while you're out of luck. Because instead of poking fun at himself or leaning into the humor of it all, LeBron gave us a full-blown Hennessy commercial. That's right, that mysterious build-up, that announcement coming soon teaser, all roads led to a liquor ad. And look, no one shocked LeBron's taking endorsements. That's part of the game. But when the whole thing is packaged like a cultural moment and it ends in a slow-motion shot of a drink being poured, it just falls flat. There's such a good opportunity to own the joke, to have a little fun with it, to turn that infamous moment into something playful. Instead, we got a moody ad that tried to feel important but just felt out of touch. And I'm saying this as someone who actually respects LeBron's career a lot. I don't fall into that camp of people who need to tear him down to elevate someone else. He's done enough to earn the respect, no matter where you rank him all time. The man is 38, still putting up 27, 7, and 7. Still dragging teams to the playoffs. Still a top physical specimen 2 decades into his career. That level of consistency, that kind of longevity, it deserves nothing but credit. But come on, man. At this point, the biggest thing working against LeBron isn't his age or his stat line. It's how overproduced and soulless some of these branding moments have become. There's a line between being a legend and becoming a walking brand. And every time something like this drops, it just pushes him further into that out-of-touch territory. Meanwhile, we're also seeing other players dip their toes into the AI pool, and not in a good way. Harrison Barnes just dropped an AI-generated music video, and it was something. Double dribbles, bizarre animations, lifeless delivery. It looked like a half-finished high school project. And this is coming from a guy who's made hundreds of millions over his career. If you've got the resources, why not just hire someone to make a proper track or video? Why lean on a half-baked algorithm to do something you clearly don't need help cutting corners on? If anything, it just makes you look disconnected. It's the kind of move that makes fans wonder if athletes are just bored or if they're trying too hard to stay current in the weirdest ways possible. But again, all of this circles back to a bigger point. We need real basketball back. Because when the headlines are being dominated by brand deals, AI videos, and whatever weird PR stunts pop up next, it means we're in a content drought. We're stretching stories too thin. We're hungry for tip-off. And thankfully, we're finally getting it. The Celtics are playing tonight. Actual games, real stats, live rotations, defensive breakdowns, highlights and lowlights, and all the beautiful, messy in-between moments that remind us why we love this game in the first place. Now, on a more personal note, speaking of actual basketball, the grind doesn't stop with the pros. How about a game myself tonight? That's right. The 40-plus league is back in session, and we're 1-1 so far this season. But let me tell you about last week. We're out there, full-court action, and I get out-rebounded by a guy who's got to be 6'2", maybe 63 years old, and he puts it back up and hits me with the too small gesture. Now look, I get it. I'm 5'7", maybe 140 soaking wet. But still, you can't hit someone with the too small when the size difference is that obvious. That's not smack talk. That's just mean. That's bullying. But before we continue, please remember to subscribe to the channel and give the video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest news about the Boston Celtics. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. Boston is buzzing with whispers that could shake the Eastern Conference to its core. The Celtics, already feared for their depth and discipline, have reportedly finalized their 5th starter, a move that insiders say is designed to send a clear warning to every team in the East. While the front office has kept the details close to the vest, sources close to the locker room hint that this isn't just a routine roster adjustment. It's a statement. For weeks, speculation has swirled about who would secure the coveted 5th spot in Boston's starting lineup. Names have come and gone in the rumor mill, but the latest chatter points to a strategic pick that balances both offense and defense, aiming to exploit matchups across the conference. Analysts suggest that whoever fills this role will bring a combination of versatility, defensive prowess, and clutch shooting, traits that have become synonymous with Celtics basketball under the current regime. The timing of the announcement is also raising eyebrows. With the Eastern Conference playoff picture shaping up, the Celtics appear intent on establishing psychological dominance before the postseason grind begins. Teams like Milwaukee, Miami, and Philadelphia are reportedly watching closely, trying to anticipate how Boston's new starter will impact rotations and offensive schemes. The buzz is that Boston isn't just thinking about immediate gains. They're laying the groundwork for a deep playoff push, signaling that their ambitions extend well beyond a first-round matchup. Players inside the organization are reportedly energized by the news, viewing the fifth starter as the final piece of a puzzle that could push them over the edge. The combination of seasoned leadership and youthful athleticism makes the Celtics lineup one of the most intimidating in the league. For fans, the excitement is palpable. Every practice, every scrimmage, every tip-off now comes with a heightened sense of anticipation. If the rumors hold true, the Eastern Conference may have to rethink its strategy entirely. Boston is sending a clear message. They're not just participants. They are contenders, and they are willing to make bold moves to maintain that status. The Celtics' new fifth starter might not be in the headlines just yet, but the chatter suggests that once he steps on the court, the East will know they mean business. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Boston Celtics, please subscribe to our channel and give the video a like. We always appreciate your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.